Ever noticed how the men who care the most often end up feeling the loneliest? It's a strange irony, isn't it? You pour your heart and soul into someone only to watch them pull away. It feels confusing and unfair, almost as if caring too much is a mistake. But this common experience carries a powerful lesson about the hidden dynamics of attraction. Why does this happen? Why does it seem like the more you give, the more distant someone becomes? In this video, we'll explore why excessive forgiveness and overbearing affection can backfire, and, most importantly, how to find the balance that keeps the spark alive. By blending ancient Stoic wisdom with modern relationship insights, we'll show you how mastering your emotions and building inner strength can make you a more attractive and grounded partner. If you've ever felt like your kindness has been taken for granted, stick around. This isn't your typical relationship advice. It's a mindset shift, a new perspective that could change how you connect with others forever. Let's dive in. Number 1. Why attachment lowers your value. Let's start with a harsh truth. Women often walk away from the men who seem to care the most, not because they don't want love, but because excessive attachment sends the wrong signals. Here's the intriguing part. It's not the love itself that drives someone away, but the way that love manifests. When you show attachment too early, you unintentionally send a message that can be a major turnoff. It says, "I need you to feel complete. You're my only source of happiness." This feels heavy, suffocating, and rooted in desperation rather than genuine connection. Pouring all your attention, time, and energy into someone right from the start might seem romantic on the surface. But what you're actually doing is signaling scarcity. It's as if you're telling them, consciously or unconsciously, that you have no other options, priorities, or interests outside of them. Instead of being seen as a confident, high-value individual with purpose, you come across as someone whose world revolves entirely around them. Take this scenario. You meet someone new, and immediately you start planning your days around them, texting constantly and canceling plans with friends just to see them. At first, they might enjoy the attention, but soon questions arise. Why is this person so available? Do they have no other interests or goals? Why am I being placed on such a pedestal? It's not about playing games or creating distance. It's about an innate desire to be with someone who is self-assured, who has their own path, and who isn't seeking validation. This is where Stoic wisdom comes into play. The practice of memento mori, remember that you must die, isn't morbid. It's a reminder of life's impermanence. It teaches us to focus on what truly matters. When you embrace this mindset, you realize that every relationship, no matter how intense, is temporary. This doesn't mean you shouldn't love deeply. It means you shouldn't attach your entire sense of worth and happiness to another person. Instead of fixating on one person, use this wisdom to live a fulfilling life, full of your own passions, goals, and pursuits. When you focus on your own path and live with purpose, you naturally become more attractive. You're not chasing, you're leading. You're not seeking validation, you're confident in who you are. And that's what makes you stand out. That's what keeps them intrigued. True connection is built on mutual respect and admiration, not dependency. The moment you start sacrificing your own identity to keep someone, you've already lost. Cultivate your own strength and self-worth, and watch how the dynamic shifts. People are drawn to those who are whole and complete on their own. Don't be the person who chases approval. Be the person who builds a fulfilling life that others want to be part of. Number 2. Hypergamy, the real reason they lose interest. This is something most people don't realize. When someone starts losing interest, it's often tied to a subconscious drive called hypergamy. Before dismissing this as shallow or materialistic, understand that it's a deeply rooted instinct, biological, not personal. Hypergamy refers to the natural inclination to seek the highest value partner available. It's not about gold digging or superficiality. It's about survival and ensuring the best future for oneself and potential offspring. This instinct is as ancient as human nature itself, guiding choices even when someone isn't fully aware of it. You might think that prioritizing them above all else, showering them with affection, canceling plans for them, making them the center of your world, will win their heart. But in reality, it often does the opposite. Why? Because hypergamy pushes them to look for signs of strength and high value. When you become overly invested too soon, it triggers doubt. Questions arise. If they're this eager to lock me down, are they really the best I can do? Why aren't they acting like someone with other options? It's not that they don't appreciate your effort. It's that hypergamy encourages them to seek qualities like confidence, independence, and purpose. A person who seems overly eager can come across as lacking these traits. Consider this scenario. A man who seems to have it all: success, confidence, charisma. On paper, he's the ideal partner, but if he starts chasing excessively, constantly texting and rearranging his life for someone he just met, his value diminishes. Despite his external qualities, his behavior signals a lack of internal abundance and self-assurance. This doesn't make them a bad person, it's simply instinct at work. The solution isn't to stop caring, but to care differently. Focus on building your own life, your own happiness, and your own strength. Be the person who doesn't need validation, but is open to connection. When you embody this, relationships become healthier, more balanced, and far more fulfilling. Guiding someone toward what they perceive as the strongest, most capable partner is a deeply rooted instinct. Hypergamy isn't about finding the richest man or the one with the flashiest car. It's about being drawn to someone who exudes confidence, self-assurance, and the ability to thrive independently. This isn't a judgment on character, it's human nature. The Stoic concept of amor fati, or the love of fate, teaches us to accept and embrace everything that happens in life, including the instincts and behaviors of others that we cannot control. Instead of resenting hypergamy or blaming women for these natural tendencies, embrace the reality of human nature. Here's the key. You cannot control her preferences or subconscious drives, but you can control how you respond. Use amor fati as a reminder to focus on what you can change: your actions, your growth, and your self-improvement. When you invest in becoming the best version of yourself, you naturally attract higher quality partners. You won't need to chase or convince anyone of your worth, because your value will be evident through the way you live your life. This is where true confidence comes from, not from trying to win someone over, but from knowing you are enough. Confidence is born from self-respect, a strong sense of purpose, and a commitment to your own growth. So, instead of worrying about whether someone is losing interest, ask yourself, am I living up to my own potential? Am I building a life I'm proud of, regardless of who is or isn't by my side? When you live with this level of self-assurance, the right person will gravitate toward you naturally. Not because you chase them, but because you embody the qualities they are instinctively drawn to. Before we dive into the next point, let's pause and reflect. It's easy to get caught up in analyzing their actions and questioning what went wrong. But remember, the real change starts with you. Now is the perfect moment to make a simple yet powerful affirmation. Type in the comments, I focus on becoming the best version of myself. By doing this, you're not just engaging with this message, you're making a commitment to prioritize your growth and self-respect. This mindset shift will transform the way you approach relationships. When you embrace the habits and values of a high-value person, everything else begins to align. Let's continue and uncover even more insights that will reshape the way you see yourself and your connections. Number 3. The dangers of emotional decision-making. Here's a critical mistake many men make in relationships. They let their emotions dictate their decisions. It might feel natural at first. After all, love, excitement, and passion are powerful forces that can easily take the wheel. But when your decisions are driven purely by fleeting emotions, you set yourself up for trouble. Emotional decision-making often leads you down a dangerous path. You might start sacrificing your goals, compromising your values, and molding your life entirely around her. While this may seem like an act of love or devotion, it weakens your foundation and puts the entire relationship at risk. Think back to the last time you made an impulsive decision to please someone you cared about. Maybe you rearranged your schedule at the last minute because she asked, or you abandoned a personal project to spend more time with her. In the moment, it probably felt like you were showing her how much she means to you. But in reality, these choices often send the wrong message, that you lack a strong sense of self. When you repeatedly bend your own needs and desires to accommodate someone else, you unintentionally communicate that you're willing to prioritize their happiness over your own stability. Over time, this creates an imbalance in the relationship. She may begin to see you as someone who can be easily swayed by emotions, a man who lacks a firm grip on his own life. Ironically, this doesn't make her feel more secure. It has the opposite effect. She starts to question whether you're capable of making strong, rational decisions when it really matters. A woman desires a partner who can be her rock, steady, grounded, and dependable, not someone who's tossed around by every wave of emotion. A healthy relationship is built on a strong foundation, and that foundation starts with you. If your decisions are driven solely by how you feel in the moment, you're building a house on sand. It might stand for a while, but eventually the cracks will show. Prioritizing logic and reason doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. It means integrating them thoughtfully. Your emotions can inform you, but they shouldn't command you. A strong man doesn't ignore his feelings, nor does he let them control him. Instead, he acknowledges them, learns from them, and then chooses actions that align with his values and long-term goals. This kind of emotional discipline creates stability and trust, qualities that are not only rare but deeply attractive. The Stoic philosopher Seneca taught that true wisdom lies in acting according to our principles, not just our desires. In the heat of the moment, it's easy to make a choice based on what feels good, whether it's avoiding conflict, indulging a fleeting emotion, or trying to win someone's approval. But Seneca reminds us that these impulsive decisions often lead us astray. Instead, we should strive for clarity, making choices that reflect our core values and greater purpose. Think of your principles as your guiding compass. They help you navigate through the stormy seas of emotions, keeping you on course even when the waves are crashing around you. When you live by your values and make decisions that honor your true self, you earn not just her respect, but your own. For example, imagine a situation where she's upset and asks you to cancel an important meeting to comfort her. Emotional decision-making might lead you to drop everything, thinking it's a sign of love. But if you pause and reflect, you might realize that honoring your commitment to the meeting aligns better with your values of responsibility and reliability. By calmly reassuring her that you'll support her after your meeting, you show balance, a man who cares but doesn't compromise his integrity. This doesn't mean ignoring her needs or acting cold. It's about demonstrating emotional maturity, showing her that you can lead with your head while still listening to your heart. This balance is rare but incredibly magnetic. The next time you feel the urge to make an impulsive decision, take a step back and ask yourself, is this aligned with my values? Am I doing this because it's the right choice, or because it feels good in the moment? When you lead with logic tempered by healthy emotions, you stand out as a man of substance, a man who commands respect and inspires trust. This is the kind of strength that makes you not just attractive, but truly unforgettable. Number 4. Women crave strength over attachment. Women are instinctively drawn to a partner who embodies strength and resilience, someone who can provide security and stability, especially in times of uncertainty. When you become emotionally dependent on her, constantly seeking her validation, it triggers an instinctive reaction. She starts to wonder, if he can't even stand on his own, how can he be the strong protector I need? This isn't always a conscious thought. It's a deeply rooted biological response. Imagine two types of men. The first man constantly needs her attention, checking in repeatedly, seeking reassurance, and adjusting his life around her. He believes he's being attentive and loving, but what he's actually displaying is insecurity. His actions reveal that he relies on her presence for his sense of security. The second man is self-assured. He cares for her deeply, but his life doesn't revolve around the relationship. He's focused on his purpose and goals, and while he enjoys her company, he doesn't depend on it for his happiness. Now ask yourself, which man is more attractive? The answer is obvious. It's the second man. He stands strong on his own, showing through his actions that he can handle whatever life throws his way. This kind of inner strength is magnetic. It signals leadership, reliability, and self-control, qualities that women are biologically wired to find appealing. The biological roots of attraction. There's a reason women are drawn to strength over attachment. It's tied to a subconscious need for security and protection. Throughout history, strength symbolized survival. The strongest men could protect, provide, and lead, while weaker men relied on others for support. Even in today's modern world, these instincts haven't disappeared. They still influence attraction dynamics in profound ways. When you show emotional dependence or clinginess too early, it sets off alarm bells in her subconscious. She begins to wonder, if he's this attached now, how will he handle challenges later? Can he stay calm and collected when life gets tough? It's not that she doesn't want a loving and caring partner, she does. But she also wants someone who can show love without losing himself in the process. Strength through Stoic wisdom. The Stoics had a timeless philosophy about strength. They believed true power comes from within, not from external validation. As Epictetus famously said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." To become truly attractive, you must first become self-reliant. Your sense of worth shouldn't waver based on someone else's opinion of you. When you embody this principle, you become the kind of man who doesn't need others to validate his existence. This independence is incredibly attractive because it signals that you are a man of substance, a man who doesn't crumble under pressure. Women aren't looking for someone to carry emotionally. They're seeking a partner, not a project. They want someone who can stand beside them as an equal, or even lead when needed. Be the man who stands tall. Here's the reality. If you're constantly seeking her approval, you'll become a burden rather than a source of strength. Instead, focus on building yourself up, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Be the man who cares deeply but doesn't lose his sense of self. Show her that while you value her, you're strong enough to walk your own path. This doesn't mean ignoring her needs. It means being grounded in your own identity and principles. When you develop this kind of inner resilience, you naturally become the partner she craves. You're no longer just another man seeking her attention. You're the man she wants to stand by because she knows you have the strength to weather any storm together. A moment of reflection. Take a moment to internalize this idea. Ask yourself, Am I building the inner strength that makes me a partner worth standing beside? Am I embodying the qualities of resilience, purpose, and self-reliance? If you're ready to step into this version of yourself, type in the comments, "I build my strength from within." This isn't just an affirmation. It's a commitment to becoming the kind of man who stands strong, not just for himself, but for the people he cares about. Now let's continue and explore how you can integrate these principles even deeper into your life. Mindset. The power of inner strength. Understanding. The power of inner strength over attachment has the potential to transform not only how you approach relationships, but also how you see yourself. This mindset shift is about recognizing that true confidence and value come from within, not from seeking approval or validation from others. If you're ready to embrace this change, take a moment now to pause and affirm this new perspective. Type in the comments, "I am strong, confident, and self-reliant." This simple but powerful affirmation is more than just words. It's an acknowledgement of your intrinsic value, independent of anyone else. By saying it, you're making a conscious choice to prioritize your growth, self-respect, and inner strength. Let this affirmation serve as a cornerstone for the self-assured person you're becoming. Every time you repeat it, you reinforce the idea that your strength and confidence come from within. You don't need to chase validation because you already know your worth. Number 5. The slow fade. Why she quietly pulls away. Women rarely leave a relationship in a sudden, dramatic exit. Instead, they often choose a quieter, more gradual path, the slow fade. It starts subtly. She begins texting less, her replies become shorter, plans feel less enthusiastic, and her warmth starts to fade. On the surface, things might seem fine, but underneath, her gradual withdrawal is intentional and deliberate. The slow fade is rarely a spur-of-the-moment decision. It's usually the result of accumulated doubts, unmet emotional needs, or a growing sense that something in the relationship isn't right. Rather than confronting the issues head-on, she may begin creating emotional space. This process allows her to test the waters, to see if she truly wants to leave, or if the relationship can somehow be salvaged without a dramatic confrontation. It's a safety mechanism, a way to emotionally detach before making a final decision. Why men miss the signs. Men often miss the slow fade because they're emotionally invested and focused on their own perspective. They assume that as long as she hasn't explicitly said anything, everything must be fine. But in reality, her actions are speaking louder than words. If you're not paying close attention, these subtle cues will go unnoticed, leaving you blindsided when she eventually decides to end things. When deeply invested in a relationship, it's easy to overlook the signs. You convince yourself she's just busy with work, stressed, or going through a phase. But deep down, you sense something has shifted. Admitting this is difficult because it forces you to confront a painful truth. She might be pulling away. Seeing the signs through a Stoic lens. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, emphasized the importance of seeing things clearly without allowing emotions to cloud our vision. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." In the context of the slow fade, this means observing her actions objectively rather than letting fear or desperation dictate your response. When you notice her pulling away, don't panic. Instead, practice mindful observation. Pay attention to her behavior without immediately jumping to conclusions or allowing your emotions to take over. Ask yourself, is she making an effort to see you? Is she initiating conversations or plans? Does her tone and demeanor reflect genuine interest? The goal is not to analyze every minor interaction, but to step back and see the bigger picture. Is there a consistent pattern of withdrawal? If so, it's time to address the situation calmly and thoughtfully. How to respond? The slow fade is not necessarily the end of the relationship. It's often a signal that something needs to change. Here's how you can respond effectively. Acknowledge your emotions. It's natural to feel hurt, confused, or even panicked when you sense someone pulling away. Take a moment to process these feelings privately. Journaling, meditating, or simply taking a walk can help you clear your mind and approach the situation from a place of calm rather than desperation. Have an honest conversation. Once you've gathered your thoughts, address the situation openly. Avoid accusations or defensiveness. Instead, focus on understanding her perspective. You might say, "I've noticed some changes in how we're connecting lately. I want to make sure everything is okay and see how you're feeling about us." This opens the door for her to share her feelings and concerns without feeling attacked. Focus on your growth. The slow fade often happens when the relationship becomes imbalanced, when one person becomes too dependent on the other. Use this as an opportunity to refocus on your own goals, passions, and self-improvement. When you show her that you're confident and grounded in your own life, you naturally reignite the qualities that initially attracted her. Accept what you cannot control. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, you can only control your own actions, not someone else's feelings or choices. If she decides to leave, accept it with grace. Clinging or trying to convince her to stay will only push her further away. The strength in letting go. Ironically, one of the most attractive things you can do when faced with the slow fade is to demonstrate emotional resilience. Show her that while you care deeply, you respect yourself enough not to cling to a relationship that isn't mutual. This doesn't mean giving up easily. It means recognizing when your efforts are no longer making a difference. Women are drawn to men who can handle challenges with calm and clarity. By staying grounded, you not only preserve your self-respect, but also show her that you're capable of navigating life's difficulties with maturity and grace. A moment of reflection. Take a moment to ask yourself, am I paying attention to the subtle cues in my relationships? Am I addressing issues head-on or avoiding difficult conversations? Am I maintaining my own sense of self and purpose, even in the face of uncertainty? If you're ready to embrace this mindset, type in the comments, "I focus on growth, clarity, and strength." Let this affirmation remind you of your ability to navigate relationships with wisdom and self-assurance. Let's continue and explore how cultivating inner strength can help you thrive in every area of your life. Responding to the slow fade. When you notice signs that she's pulling away, it's crucial to assess the situation calmly and objectively. Ask yourself, are her words aligned with her actions, or is there a disconnect? Is she initiating conversations or plans, or are you always the one reaching out? By observing her behavior without letting emotions cloud your judgment, you can respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. The worst response: chasing harder. If you sense she's creating distance, the worst thing you can do is chase her harder. Constantly reaching out, demanding answers, or trying to win her back often has the opposite effect. It pushes her further away. Why? Because it signals desperation, a lack of confidence, and an inability to respect her need for space. Instead, take a step back and allow her the time and room she's seeking. This doesn't mean you ignore her or play manipulative games. It means demonstrating maturity by respecting her feelings and showing that you're strong enough to give her the space she needs without falling apart. Focusing on yourself. Use this time of distance to refocus on yourself. Dive into your own passions, strengthen your personal goals, and invest in self-improvement. By doing so, you remind both yourself and her that your sense of worth doesn't depend on anyone else's validation. This approach exudes confidence and emotional stability. It shows her that you're not trying to cling to the relationship out of fear, but rather allowing it to flow naturally. If she's genuinely interested, she'll notice this calm, self-assured response. She may even return with renewed interest, drawn by your resilience and independence. Accepting the outcome. If she doesn't come back, it's not a failure. In fact, you've saved yourself the heartache of clinging to someone who was already emotionally halfway out the door. Accepting this outcome requires strength, but it's also a powerful act of self-respect. By letting go, you make space for someone who will value you as much as you value them. Why inner strength matters. In the end, it's your inner strength that sets you apart. Women are naturally drawn to men who handle challenges with grace and composure. By responding to the slow fade with confidence and emotional maturity, you show that you're not dependent on the relationship for your sense of self-worth. This kind of poise leaves a lasting impression. Even if the relationship ends, you become the kind of person she regrets losing. You show her, through your actions, that you are a partner of substance, someone who values connection but doesn't compromise their identity for it. A moment of reflection. Take this opportunity to reflect on your approach to relationships. Number 6. It's all about the feelings she gets. Let's get one thing straight. Women don't fall in love with a checklist. It's not just about how tall you are, how much money you make, or how good you look. Sure, these qualities might catch her attention initially, but they're not what keeps her interested over time. What makes her stay? What makes her fall deeply for you? It's the feelings you evoke when she's with you. It's about the emotional experience, the highs, the excitement, the comfort, and even the occasional challenge. If you're too predictable, or if you focus solely on external traits, you might seem impressive at first, but over time, you risk becoming forgettable. The emotional experience. Have you ever noticed how a woman can be captivated by a man who isn't the best looking in the room, who doesn't drive the flashiest car, or have the biggest bank account? It's because he knows how to make her feel something unique. He's unpredictable, exciting, and creates moments she remembers long after they've happened. This is the kind of man who leaves an impact because he understands a key truth. Attraction is rooted in emotional connection, not in ticking off a list of desirable traits. On the other hand, you could be conventionally attractive, tall, fit, successful, but if your interactions with her are always the same, if you're predictable and don't stir a range of emotions, she'll eventually lose interest. This isn't because she's shallow or demanding. It's because her attraction isn't based on logic. It's based on how you make her feel when she's around you. Breaking the checklist mentality. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking you need to check certain boxes to keep her interested: looks, money, status. But here's the reality. You could have all those things and still struggle in relationships if you don't understand the importance of emotional engagement. Women are intuitive. They can sense when a man is leading with his resume rather than his heart. It feels hollow, like you're trying to impress her instead of genuinely connecting with her. Instead of obsessing over external factors, focus on what you can control: how you show up, how present you are, the energy you bring into every interaction. Are you fully engaged, or are you just going through the motions? Are you creating meaningful moments, or are you relying on surface-level traits to maintain her interest? Living with authenticity. As Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." You can't control how she feels, but you can control the kind of man you choose to be. When you live with purpose, authenticity, and passion, you naturally create an emotional experience that draws people in. This isn't about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about becoming the best version of who you already are. Confidence, presence, and authenticity are far more captivating than any checklist of traits. What she remembers. At the end of the day, women remember the feelings you give them far more than the words you say or the things you own. They remember the excitement of being around you, the comfort of your presence, and the way you made them feel seen, heard, and understood. It's not about being perfect, it's about being real. When you can evoke a range of emotions, joy, curiosity, passion, and even a little bit of tension, you create a powerful, lasting connection. Your commitment. So, instead of focusing on building a checklist of traits, work on becoming a man who can offer an emotional experience she can't find anywhere else. Lead with authenticity, embrace who you are, and let your interactions flow naturally. This is what creates true attraction. This is what makes you unforgettable. If you're still with me, take a moment right now to commit to this mindset shift. Type in the comments, "I focus on the emotional connection." By doing this, you're affirming your intention to be the kind of man who doesn't just check boxes, but creates unforgettable experiences. It's a small step, but one that can have a big impact. Now let's dive deeper into how you can master this understanding and transform your approach to relationships even further. Number 7. The need for imagination and fantasy. Women thrive on imagination and fantasy. They are drawn to the excitement of the unknown, the thrill of possibility, and the allure of what could be. When you're too available, too predictable, or always present at her beck and call, you strip away that sense of mystery. You kill the thrill, leaving no room for her imagination to wander. Without mystery, there's no anticipation, no excitement, just a flat, predictable routine that feels more like an obligation than an adventure. Why mystery matters. Why are women often captivated by stories of romance and adventure, filled with twists, surprises, and unexpected moments? It's because these stories feed their desire for an emotional journey, a narrative that isn't obvious or laid out from the start. It's the what-ifs, the moments of uncertainty, and the anticipation of what's coming next that keep them engaged. When you're overly available or predictable, you take away the unknown. You become like an open book she's already read cover to cover, comforting perhaps, but no longer exciting. If you're always there when she calls, if you drop everything for her, and if she knows exactly how you'll respond in every situation, there's no room left for curiosity or passion. Living a life of purpose and adventure. The Stoics believed in embracing challenges, pursuing passions, and living life fully. As Seneca famously said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult." In the context of relationships, this means daring to live a vibrant, fulfilling life that sparks excitement and curiosity. When you follow your own path and pursue your interests with passion, you naturally create an aura of mystery and adventure that is irresistible. This isn't about playing games or manufacturing false intrigue. It's about genuinely cultivating a dynamic lifestyle, one filled with exploration, purpose, and a willingness to step outside your comfort zone. The power of authentic mystery. When you live with passion and purpose, you don't need to pretend to be mysterious or distant to keep her attention. Your genuine excitement for life will naturally draw her in and make her want to be a part of your journey. Women crave more than just stability. They want the thrill of an adventure, the excitement of a journey. By bringing imagination and fantasy into the relationship, you become more than a partner. You become an escape from the mundane, a source of inspiration and a spark of excitement in her world. How to bring adventure into your relationship. Pursue your passions. Live a life that excites you. Whether it's exploring new hobbies, traveling, or setting ambitious goals, your genuine enthusiasm for life will create a sense of intrigue. Keep evolving. Don't settle into a predictable routine. Continue learning, growing, and discovering new interests. When you evolve, the relationship evolves with you. Embrace the unknown. Try new things together. Take risks and embrace spontaneity. These shared experiences build memories and deepen emotional connection. Give her room to wonder. Let her imagination fill the gaps. Instead of oversharing every detail of your day, leave some things unsaid. Let her wonder about your experiences and anticipate your next move. The impact of imagination and fantasy. In the end, it's not the checklist of qualities that makes her fall in love. It's the way you make her feel. By bringing a sense of imagination, mystery, and excitement into her life, you create an emotional journey she doesn't want to end. Number 8. The power of controlled indifference. The more you show you're willing to walk away, the more she wants to hold on. This isn't about being cold or uncaring. It's about displaying controlled indifference. It's not the same as acting disinterested or playing games. Controlled indifference is rooted in genuine self-respect and emotional stability. It's the calm confidence that says, "I want you, but I don't need you to feel complete." When a woman senses that you're not afraid to lose her, it flips a psychological switch. Suddenly, you become the prize, the person she feels compelled to win. The allure of what's just out of reach. Think about the allure of something just out of reach. The more elusive it is, the more we crave it. This is basic human psychology. We value what we can't easily have. When you demonstrate controlled indifference, you signal that your world doesn't revolve around her. This subtle detachment piques her curiosity. She starts to wonder, why isn't he chasing me like everyone else? What makes him so confident? What does he know that I don't? This curiosity builds desire, making her more invested in the relationship. On the flip side, when you're constantly seeking her approval, bending over backwards to make her happy, and showing fear of losing her, you inadvertently push her away. Instead of seeing you as a confident, self-assured man, she starts to view you as someone who lacks options, and nothing is less attractive than desperation. What controlled indifference really means. It's crucial to understand that controlled indifference isn't disinterest. You're not ignoring her or acting cold to manipulate her feelings. Instead, you're showing that while you value her presence, you also value yourself and your freedom. You're willing to let things flow naturally without forcing the relationship or compromising your own life plans. This kind of energy is compelling because it's authentic and rooted in genuine self-confidence, not a calculated strategy. Mastering the balance. The man who masters this balance becomes irresistibly attractive. He doesn't get flustered by her tests. He isn't swayed by her attempts to make him chase. And he values his own time and energy. This doesn't make him aloof. It makes him the kind of partner she feels lucky to be with. He's the man she wants to win over precisely because he's not trying to win her over. The wisdom of Stoic detachment. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught us the importance of detachment from external outcomes. He said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." In relationships, this means not placing your happiness or self-worth in the hands of someone else's approval. When you practice detachment, You're no longer consumed by the fear of where the relationship is heading or how she feels about you in every moment. Instead, you focus on being the best version of yourself, living according to your principles and letting things unfold naturally. The freedom of controlled indifference. This attitude is liberating. It puts you in control of your emotions and happiness. You're no longer a slave to her responses or validation. Controlled indifference isn't about manipulation. It's about valuing yourself enough to walk away if necessary. When you show her that you're a man who respects himself and isn't afraid to lose her, you shift the dynamic. She realizes she's the one who needs to work to keep your attention, not the other way around. The magnetic power of self-respect. Remember this: the most magnetic men are those who are confident in their own skin, who don't chase after validation, and who live life on their own terms. By embracing controlled indifference and practicing Stoic detachment, you become that man, the one who is strong, self-assured, and ultimately irresistible. Closing thoughts. As we wrap up, let's reflect on what we've discussed today. Why does showing too much care and affection sometimes backfire in relationships? It's not because love itself is the problem, it's about how that love is expressed and perceived. When affection turns into attachment or emotional dependency, it creates a dynamic where the other person feels overwhelmed, or worse, trapped. The very thing meant to draw you closer can actually drive a wedge between you. The Stoic approach to relationships. This brings us back to the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. The Stoics teach us to value self-control, self-respect, and the importance of focusing on what we can control, our own actions and responses. In relationships, this means leading with confidence and inner purpose. Instead of losing yourself in the pursuit of someone else's approval, you remain centered, grounded, and true to your values. When you adopt this mindset, you naturally become more attractive because you exude the qualities of a strong, independent partner. You don't chase after validation. You create a life that others want to be a part of. Finding the balance. It's not about caring less. It's about caring wisely. Show affection, but do it from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. Give love, but don't make it your sole source of identity or happiness. Maintain your own interests, goals, and passions outside of the relationship. This balance keeps the dynamic healthy, prevents neediness, and allows love to flourish without losing your sense of self. A moment of reflection. Before we wrap up, ask yourself, am I living in a way that reflects my values and aspirations? Am I compromising too much of myself for someone else's approval? The answers could be a powerful revelation that helps you shift your approach to relationships moving forward. Take these insights and apply them to your life. Be the man who is confident in his own skin, who offers love without losing his identity, and who leads with strength and authenticity. When you embody these qualities, you won't just be the kind of partner women are drawn to. You'll be the kind of person who feels fulfilled and at peace, regardless of the relationship's outcome. Call to action. If you found value in today's discussion, give this video a like. It really helps support the channel. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Have you experienced the pitfalls of over-caring? How do you maintain balance in your relationships? Let's share our experiences and learn together. And don't forget to subscribe for more content on mastering relationships with Stoic wisdom. Check out the recommended videos on screen to dive even deeper into these concepts. Thanks for watching, and remember, true strength lies in leading a life where love is a choice, not a need.